yourself, you're a journalist, and I'm sure you've been following on what's been happening. On top of the Gazan people suffering a genocide, they're also suffering from the stopping of I'm sorry, I miss. I'm so sorry again. Uh, we're talking about the misinformation as well that is happening as right now in the media. I mean, Mr. Carlos and Guillermo have spoken to us a bit about it. Tell us your view on the media scope at the moment in Argentina, please.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of misinformation. There's journalists or public people who came out for ceasefire or came out supporting Palestinians or even mildly criticizing Israel are facing a tremendous persecution in the media, in social networks, in through legal means, in public opinion. For instance, recently there was a journalist who was invited to a TV program here in Argentina. She barely started speaking, and she came out for a ceasefire and even lamenting casualties on both sides. And she was immediately censored and expelled from TV from the TV studios. For instance, here there are journalists, TV news anchors who have Israeli flags on their desks on TV, and well, the TV here and the media is consistently pro Israel, and well, myself, I have recently written, for instance, about how Marxism dealt with the Jewish question historically. I wrote an article in Spanish about that, on how Marxism dealt with the Jewish question uh, in the light of the current genocide on Gaza. And I talked about the Jewish question and anti-Semitism, and I think that the creation of the State of Israel has not solved anti-Semitism or the Jewish question. Far from that, it has worsened. Anti-Semitism has was aggravated by the creation of the State of Israel, because Jews are identified with a criminal state, which even massacres another Semite people like the Palestinians. And so this could only worsen anti-Semitism, far from solving it. So the State of Israel is not a solution for anti-Semitism. Such kinds of opinions here in Argentina are extremely unpopular, are censored in the big media and the large media. And for instance, I am also political activist in the left. I am an activist in the left front. And as you might know, recently there were presidential elections here in Argentina. Like another speaker recently said that, Javier Milei is the new president in Argentina, and he's a far right politician. He's a hard Zionist politician. He boasts of his contacts with the most conservative figures of the Jewish religious establishment. He even thinks about converting to Judaism. He's a Catholic, and in these presidential elections, there was a comrade of mine, Miriam Bregman, who was a candidate for presidency, and there were on October the 8th, barely a day after the events of the 7th of October the 7th, there was one of the presidential debates, um, and it was in the media. It was in the middle of the hype of all this hysteria, of all this pro-Israel hysteria, and there were five presidential candidates, and four candidates started their presentations by showing their unconditional solidarity with Israel, with Netanyahu. Even the candidates of the former of the government of the former government, who was considered a kind of a left of center government, a kind of progressive government. He Sergio Massa, he's a staunch pro-Zionist politician. He even disavowed a statement by his foreign minister, the foreign minister of his government, um, even mildly criticizing Israel, and he disavowed it. He's a hard Zionist also. So the political establishment in Argentina is staunchly pro-Israel. And my comrade Miriam Bregman was the only one to raise her voice in favor of the Palestinians. She even denounced Israel as an apartheid state. And this had an immediate backlash, because she was instantly labeled as anti-Semitic, even as Nazi, which is telling, because she was the only candidate of the five. She was the only of the five candidates with a Jewish background, and well, this is telling because in Argentina there's also a considerable part of the Jewish community who is pro-Palestinian, who is against the state of Israel, who is anti-Zionist, and who has taken part in demonstrations. We, as part of the left, have mobilized, have organized demonstrations. We have organized audiences in Congress, meetings in Congress with representatives of the Arab community here in Argentina. Here, there's also a large, sizable Arab community, mainly of Syrian Lebanese origin, and we have been at the center of these demonstrations with them, and also with these pro-Palestinian Jews. And we are socialists, so we stand with the Palestinians with our own banners, with our own in this way we don't share the politics of organizations like Hamas, but nevertheless in this conjuncture we unconditionally support the Palestinians. We side with them against the state of Israel, and we the left front as a whole has been a central part of the organizations of these demonstrations, and we also have links with organizations in the rest of Latin America and Europe, with socialist organizations. We have also been with them organizing demos and mobilizations in Europe, where there is a strong prohibition against pro-Palestinian manifestations. We have been threatened, legally threatened, because we have been labeled as anti-Semitic and so on.
I think what
But
you mentioned earlier about Jews mobilizing for Palestine as well,
yeah,
it's a statement in itself that, you know, these protests are not anti-Semitic. They are pro
yeah,
life for Palestinian people, and there should be a very clear distinction between that and anti-Semitism, which they're not the same thing.
yes, and,
I'm
and
just
they are
very conscious of
they are
time.
much against the current. Also, they are much against the current, because
That's
large
correct.
parts of the Jewish community here in Argentina are staunchly pro-Zionist. Yeah,
Of course. I think this is somewhat historical in Argentina in a way, and it does go back in for a long time. I thank you so much. I'm just a bit conscious of time, but thank you so much for your input. To kind of like break it off a bit, I'm going to be reading some of the comments. So I'm going to start from the latest one. Ecolab has been saying, as it's a stigmatized topic, I suppose speaking about Palestine, we see on Instagram people have a natural coping mechanism while going through trauma. There's also been a conversation here from Mr. Yasser Hamad saying a huge psychiatrics program should be launched post-war to deal with and treat all the trauma the women, children, and men are going through for so long. Even the human being psychiatric health in Gaza will need to be restored away from the terror that they have been facing. And this is so true. And I hope, I mean, one of our speakers today will be a psychologist. Maybe we can tackle upon that subject as well. Um, Another comment from Mr. Ahmed Shaban saying, we will never forget, we will never stop sharing, plead free Palestine.